Sorry, Booer.
What is up, boys and squirrels? We're back. It's November 7th.
November 7th.
We're post-hunt, and I can't tell you how excited I am to go over this entire day with you guys. So,
We got a big buck down, boys. Big buck down.
I woke up on time this morning. Actually fell asleep last night going over some of the maps on Onyx on my phone, just trying to figure out a spot to hunt. And I just could not come up with a good place that I was confident in. I had to work today, so I had to get in somewhere really quick. We have some ladder stands set up on some of our private land pieces, and I was between 2 or 3 of them based on the wind. The wind was good for all of them. And I figured one was a little bit too long of a drive, so I rolled that one out. But the other 2 were the same property, and in all honesty, the ladder stands were maybe 200 yards apart. So I decided, I'm going to go, but I forgot to set an alarm. 2 o'clock last night, I woke up, set my alarm for 5:30. I got up, hot around, just couldn't come up with enough confidence to really just feel like I needed to get in there right now. So I took a really long Chaz Wild kind of morning where I just slowly did everything. Coffee,
Man's kitchen.
Shower, getting dressed. I mean, even I sat in this same chair for 5 minutes debating whether I was going to go or not. And it's moments like this when you hunt all weekend long and you really grind and you're, in November, that you just kind of feel like you've lost a little bit of confidence. And we haven't been seeing many deer lately, but I knew it was November 7th. It was cold. This is the day. This is the day I've always preached. November 7th was the day that, all these big bucks are getting killed on this day. I have a November 6th buck and a November 8th buck. So I knew that it was good. And I just had this feeling I had to get out. But I got out late. I mean, it was probably 7:30 with the time change. It had been, first light was 6:30, so it had been an hour of daylight already. I came walking up into my property, and along that walk, I saw some fresh big tracks. Thought that was good news. The Blue Jays were going absolutely insane, and there were 2 new, really fresh rubs right in front of an old ladder stand that we call the murder ladder. And, my younger brother Joe kind of nicknamed it the murder ladder because he had killed a lot of bucks out of that spot. It's notorious for it. So the problem is that ladder hasn't been functionally huntable in probably 2 years. And I figured, why not? I'm going to go try it. What had happened is that the tree, I kind of outgrew the ladder stand and started raising the top platform out of the sticks. But upon farther review of the ladder, they're still attached by a bar, which is a pretty thin piece of metal. And in all reality, probably wouldn't do anything for me. But I figured I'd give it a shot. It looked too good. I actually had my stuff to climb, so I decided maybe I'll go climb the tree. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to look at it. And if it looks good, I'll hunt it. I have confidence in that spot. I've seen some of the biggest deer I've ever seen in that spot. I've missed the biggest buck of my life in that spot. So I got up in the ladder stand, and sure enough, I was in there less than a half an hour, and all hell broke loose. To describe it for you, I looked back over my left shoulder at one point, phone in my hand. I was about to send a Marco Polo to some buddies, and I look back, and there's a buck running across the field behind me. Well, there's a train on this property, and the noise from the train as it was coming by was so loud, I pulled my grunt call out, and I crushed that thing. I mean, I just hammered on the grunt call. No luck. The deer continued to run away from me, and he didn't hear me at all. So finally he stopped, and he was probably 120 yards away. I hit that grunt tube, and he finally picks his head up, and I could see the whites of his ears and his antlers. So I know he's looking my way. and he puts his head down, starts walking a little bit farther. At this point, the train's kind of moving on, but it's still making some noise. It's just not super, super loud. So I took that grunt call and I hit it as loud as I possibly could without that thing turning over. I mean, I crushed it. Sure enough, he picked his head up again. I mean, he snapped it up in my direction. And as I'm looking at this brute, I mean, I'm just thinking this deer is absolutely, giant. From my point of view, it's a really nice buck, and it is. But at this point now, the train's kind of moving along, and I've gotten his attention. He's looking my way, but he can't see me because I'm up in a big, big pine tree thicket. And the way the field lays out, it's high weeds, and he can't see the back corner that I'm hunting. So I hit him with the snort wheeze. And this has only worked for me now for the second time. As soon as I did that, I mean, he put his head down. He started my way. He started pretty aggressively my way, moving with a purpose, kind of zigzagging through the field, coming my way. I'm sitting down in this ladder, and I'm trying to decide, do I stand up? Do I stay seated? Because if I stand up, the platform's going to separate from the sticks. It could make noise, so I decide I'm just going to stay seated. If I'm seated, I'm safe. Now, hold on. I should back up and mention that I was 100% tied in with my saddle set up, so I figured if anything were to happen, I have a rappelling system. I can just rappel out of the tree, no problem at all. I'm safe and sound. So I'm sitting, and there's a branch directly out in front of me. He comes all the way into 30 yards, directly behind that branch. I draw back. He takes 2 more steps towards me and stops and starts to pan, and he doesn't see a deer. And at this point, he starts to get nervous. You can tell in his behavior that he's very nervous, but I'm still at full draw, and he's not making a move. He's doing what all big bucks do. They just stand there and stare. And it almost looks like he's kind of looking my way, but I am looking through a branch that is so thick and nasty that I can't tell for sure. So I'm still at full draw, and at this point, I am just back forever. It has to be over a minute, maybe pushing a minute and a half by the time he finally decides he's going to get out of there. He's going to double back towards the way he came in. The good part about this is now he's worked in so close, I have a hole in the tree, a pocket at 35 yards that he's going to go directly into. And sure enough, he steps right in it. I give him a pretty loud, aggressive grunt with my mouth. And he takes 1 or 2 steps, turns, and gives me that shoulder look back. Perfectly broadside. Absolutely perfectly broadside. Tried to settle the pin. At this point, I've been holding back for a long time, so I'm not going to lie to you. It was tough. And I'm holding back, and I can just see that pin kind of floating, and I'm trying to rest it behind the shoulder. I just figure, a little bit back, because at my point of view, it looked like he was slightly quartering away, but it turned out he was not. I let the arrow rip, saw it just zip right through him. It was back a little bit in the ribs, but dead center of the body. I watched blood just gush out of him as he ran away through the field and was able to witness him go down in the field. And then shortly after that, that's when I grabbed this camera that was hanging in the tree above me, watching the wide open section. And the rest, you'll be able to see how it unfolded.
We got a big buck down, boys. Big buck down. He came in across this field. I just looked back and saw him bumping across this big 8-point, baby. Big 8-point. Their train was coming. He couldn't hear me. I grunted as loud as I possibly could. Fucking crushed that thing like 4 times. He finally heard me. The train moved on. I snort wheezed. He came in right here, 35 fucking yards. Went through this little hole. 435, I grunted him. He stopped. I let it rip. Hit him 2 ribs back. Fucking blasted through him. He's down right over there in the field, boys. You have no idea how much this means to me.
amazing hunt, an unbelievable morning. And it's just those moments where you don't want to get out of bed, and you got to remind yourself, we only have so many November mornings in our lives. And, you know, whether it's work, kids, responsibilities, all mornings are not created equal, and I get that. But you just got to get out there. This is what we do. We do it because we love it, and you know, it's something else. I can't say enough about it. It's just what I love. It's what everybody, you know, with the Northern Outcast and Whitetail Distraction and all the groups that we're with, that's what we love. So enjoy the video. Again, sorry did not get the shot on video, but hope you guys enjoy it.